Guess who's back?
Obviously, they confirmed it today out of Saudi. The news is one card, a mega card, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Usyk and Fury in December. What do you guys think?
What should we expect, bro? I'm gonna get Saudi their first knockout victim. I'm a blessing.
What's going on, boxing fans? Welcome to Backchat TV. So, are they going to make this fight or not? Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. There's rumors that this fight is back on the table. I know there's a lot of people that's going to say, you know, it's probably not going to happen, as it didn't happen how many years ago. Maybe it should have happened at least 5 years ago. You know, it didn't happen. But I got a feeling that this situation is different. I said the same thing about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, but there is talk that that fight is about to happen as well, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, but that's for another video. I know a lot of the public's trust has been mistreated when it comes to these big fights, but I think there's a lot of politics involved. There's a lot of ducking, there's a lot of promotional differences, different side of the street. We all know about all these things that basically just stop these great fights that we want to see happen. But having said that, there are occasions when these fights do get made, and a lot of the times there are people behind the scenes trying to make these fights happen. Just like there's people blocking the fights, but there are people that trying to make them happen. I think in this particular situation, I think the fight will happen between Joshua and Wilder. Just process of elimination, really. You know, Joshua just had a win over Franklin, and Wilder is free now. It makes sense that towards the end of the year, Joshua gets it on with Wilder, especially where, you know, the Fury fight is supposed to be rescheduled hopefully at some point, but I don't know if he's going to fight Usyk or not. We had Joe Joyce losing. Just the way certain things have happened, it's all leading to this fight happening in a way. That's what I think. Also, even if you look at the fact of the Saudis now being in this position where they've offered a large purse, that makes the biggest difference. Because of the Saudis putting up the money, the fight makes sense between these two in December. Now, is it 100%? No, it's not 100%, but something tells me that this is what is being worked on. And yeah, I would still be excited to see it. Not as excited as when they were both at the top of their profession, which they've both slipped down a little bit. Well, actually, I don't think Wilder's slipped much, to be honest. I don't know. It's kind of funny when I'm looking at where they are in their careers, mentally and physically. I feel like Wilder is mentally very, very strong. He's very, very stubborn. If you think about it, he knocked out all his opponents before fighting Fury. And then when he had his fights with Fury, although he lost convincingly in the second fight, he was so stubborn, he was so upset with the loss that he came back straight away. In the third fight, it was actually a good fight. The third fight we thought we didn't have to see, and it was actually the best fight. Wilder did himself proud in there, gave a great performance, showed a lot of heart, and dropped Tyson Fury, but ultimately he lost convincingly by knockout. Now, Wilder went back to the drawing board with Malik Scott, worked on a lot of things, like people always say that he needs to work on his footwork and this and his defense. Came back with a great win against Helenius, and he looks better than ever. You know, and I feel like even though Wilder's not saying it, he wants that another fight with Fury, another shot at Fury. And Wilder, to me, even though he's older, he's only getting better. You know, and I think this is completely down to his mindset. Just he took some time out that he needed. He came back stronger. He's looking in better shape. He's looking faster. He's looking sharper. He's looking more defensively responsible. And he's doing great things in sparring, apparently, rumours say. He's looking sharp, and he doesn't look like he's slipped in any way. I think those knockouts with Fury actually is what he needed to kind of just turn his mentality into thinking he's invincible to actually trying to be a better fighter. And I think now he realizes he's not invincible. I think that's actually made him stronger. Now, if we look at Anthony Joshua now, Joshua has kind of failed to pull the trigger since he lost against Usyk. Well, before that, since he lost against Andy Ruiz, I feel like the loss against Andy Ruiz affected him more than Wilder has been affected by the loss by Fury, if you see what I mean. Ever since Andy Ruiz, he has tried to play it safe, which makes sense. You don't want to get knocked out. But the first time he fought Andy Ruiz, when he lost in that dramatic fashion, in the rematch, he came back and he boxed, he moved, he boxed, and he boxed really well. But there was no fireworks. And at that moment, that is where Anthony Joshua's heart kind of disappeared. You know, he doesn't go for the knockout anymore. Before he was knocked out himself, he just had that killer instinct, and that's what everybody talks about. And I think that happens to a lot of knockout artists because they've never been stopped. So when they've never been stopped or gone to decision, they kind of believe that if they put their foot down to get the knockout, they'll get it. And so they do put their foot down. And so that's why they almost get it. They almost always get it, I should say. When a situation comes where they finally come up against something where they lose, it makes them hesitant to put their foot down. And that's what's happened to Anthony Joshua. We've seen it since the second fight against Andy Ruiz, the two fights against Usyk, the recent fight against Franklin. It's just a complete different Anthony Joshua. Much more careful, but in a bad way. Much more hesitant. And it leads to him being in a boring kind of stalemate fight where he doesn't want to take a chance. And, you know, often the opponent, in Franklin's situation, you know, a foot shorter than him, is actually taking the initiative and trying to press the action. Now, with Wilder, this is not the case. Wilder got knocked out and exposed by Fury, and Wilder still goes for the knockout. Even though he is more careful, he has learnt more skills, how to set up punches, he still knows and he still has confidence, even more confidence in his knockout punch, in his knockout power, and he still goes for it. Whereas Anthony Joshua doesn't. This is why Anthony Joshua, in my view, cannot beat Deontay Wilder, unfortunately. And I'm a big Anthony Joshua fan. I love his mentality for the most part, and his attitude and his humbleness, and I love the fact that he's a student of the game. He always thinks that he's got more to learn. But just losing that confidence in what makes you, you know, a top heavyweight is just is vital. I feel like Deontay Wilder hasn't lost a step, and that's my honest feeling. When these two meet, I think it's only a matter of time before Wilder knocks Joshua out, and the reason is because Joshua doesn't go for it anymore. And the worst person you can fight where you don't go for it and you don't push the opponent backwards and force them to defend and take away their power by your offense is Deontay Wilder. He's the worst person, because if you stay careful and stay on the back foot and try to outbox him and move out the way of that right hand, you're going to get hit by that right hand. It's the way that Wilder fights. Tyson Fury found it out in the first fight. He adjusted and he never lost the fight against Wilder since. If you look at every opponent that tries to be careful, moving out the way, fighting kind of defensively, Wilder catches them. If you look at any fighter that has tried to actually be attack-minded and put Deontay Wilder on the attack, where he doesn't have the leverage of you kind of backing off him, they always do well. Even Ortiz. Look how well Ortiz did in the first fight where he came out attacking Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder couldn't find that right hand until later on in the fight when Ortiz kind of slowed down and Wilder was kind of able to become the aggressor. Same thing in the second fight. Ortiz was winning every round. A lot of fighters have made Wilder kind of hesitant if you attack him. Joshua does not look like he has the ability to do that, or he has the willpower and motivation to do that. So, unless Joshua dramatically changes back to the old Joshua, but with more skills, and comes forward, fights like a big man, puts Wilder immediately under attack, throwing body shots, clinching, making it dirty like the way Tyson Fury kind of can do, imposing your size, imposing your strength. Don't give Deontay Wilder space to set up that right hand. If Joshua does that, he has a chance. But I have seen no evidence that Joshua has that mindset to do that. He's going to stay on the back foot with his hands up, being overly tentative, waiting for that opportunity that Wilder makes a mistake, and he's just going to get hit by it. And then we're going to have to see how he recovers. But I think Wilder was just going for the kill. I just haven't seen enough evidence of Joshua, landing power shots, really being aggressive. I haven't seen it since Andy Louise. I haven't seen any aggression from Joshua. That loss took Joshua's aggressiveness away completely, and now he's just like a very ordinary looking fighter who is trying to counter and fight on the back foot. And like I said, it could work, but not for long against Wilder. So I am a big fan of Joshua. I hope he can really find himself. He didn't seem to find himself against Franklin. If his next fight is in December against Wilder, then I don't have any kind of evidence that can kind of fill me with enthusiasm that Anthony Joshua has a chance, if that makes sense. I can't look at a recent fight where he's been aggressive and come forward, which is what I feel he needs to do. I haven't seen it. Even as far back as when he fought Pulev, there wasn't that aggression. It was that waiting, not wanting to be countered, trying to get out of the way. And that's all I've seen from Joshua. And I don't feel like he can get that aggressiveness back. I think it was something instinctful, if that's a word, instinctive. And once it's gone, it's gone. We see it with a lot of fighters who fight on too long and they get beaten and they have to retire and they try to come back. Often the thing that made them great is missing. And I just don't think you can kind of train that heart back into a fighter. I think once they lose it, they know what it feels like now to be sitting on the canvas, and they don't want to feel it ever again. And that fear puts them into a certain category of fighter, a certain mindset that ultimately becomes very difficult to overcome. Not impossible, but very difficult. And I think that's the case for Anthony Joshua. So my prediction, if they do fight, is a Wilder KO. I don't know when, anywhere from the 3rd to the 8th round or something. But that's what my prediction is. I don't give Joshua much chance. I can't see him landing punches, any meaningful punches, because he doesn't come forward. So I just can't see it. The bottom line is I need to see more from Joshua before I can give him a chance against Wilder. Thank you everyone for listening, everyone who clicked on my videos. I really appreciate the support. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment. I enjoy the comments that are given. Subscribe to the channel. Leave likes, leave comments. Thank you.